Welcome. We're live, everybody. The Lynn and Scott and Friends show, as we all see it, right here on the Lynn Network. We may as well call it, because Lynn, you are in charge of all of it. Let me tell you.
Aw, well, I'm excited because this week is Thanksgiving, and every day we should be grateful, right?
Every day we should be grateful. Today we're going to spend some time just talking about gratitude, what we're grateful for, things that maybe have changed us for the better. Just a real positive message today. And certainly anything anybody else wants to bring up, because it's not like we could stop anybody anyway, can we? It just goes where it goes. But this is a great week. This is one of my favorite holidays, Lynn, because it's got two things: food and family. That's all it's about. That's all. You don't have to go Christmas shopping. You don't have to do all of this. You don't have to put on a costume, unless you want to dress like a pilgrim at the table. That's up to you. But it's food and family.
Yes, and I'm excited about our friends that are here. I'm just going to pop them up like
Let's
popcorn.
pop them up.
There's Teodora. Welcome.
Teodora.
And then we got Christy Vanacore.
Christy, how are you, Christy?
And the one and only, I had the privilege of spending time with this guy. He is super awesome. Mr. One and Only Bob Donnell.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Bob.
Welcome, everybody.
What was more exciting, meeting Bob or meeting Flo? That's what I want to know.
Both
we
of
both
them.
know the answer to that one.
Well, yeah, it was just great being with them. I mean, just look at that. We made a sandwich out of them.
Flo came bearing gifts.
Yeah.
What's that?
Flo brought gifts.
She brought gifts? She brought some of her edible stuff?
Yeah. I didn't get that till the end of the night, but she brought you, or you brought her. You came together and we had such a great time. Great time. I was blessed with a little bit of a crash. I don't know what do you want to call it, Bob, but what Bob does, he's really good with connecting people, and he gave me a little taste of that, and I learned some valuable lessons, and it was really great, and it was very composed, and it just, I respect and honored that he spent that time doing that, because I've got a more perspective on what he does, and he's so good at it. So we're gonna have a bit
of real world training, kind of that crash course, and that's awesome.
Yeah, well, and so
now, who else joined you last week? That was Barry was with you guys. Who else was with you guys last week?
Barry was with us.
And Debbie, of course.
Yep. And Debbie will be popping in here in a little bit. Excellent. And I had a couple other friends, and we had Joe Ingram. I don't think I have him here, and his beautiful wife, Netta. And Emmy. I had quite a few people there. And then she couldn't be there, but this scarf that I'm wearing, Teodora got that scarf for me. So Teodora was with us in spirit. So, and the earrings I wore.
Earrings.
Yeah. And earrings. That's right. They were from Teodora. So
my head's are setting.
I just was thankful. I mean, when you realize that people take time and effort, and you guys drove over 3 hours to come and see us. And that really meant, that meant so much to us. I can't even tell you. And then he took us to two of his favorite places. It was just really, they're actually a dark side to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Jerry's bringing up, I mean, the idea of Thanksgiving, or how it started, was not really a pleasant thing. We've turned it into something pleasant, but yeah, there's a very dark side to the history of Thanksgiving and the Native Americans. But we're not going to dwell on the dark side today.
No. Oh, no. And he's telling the story there. You guys can read it in the thing, because I'm not going to put that up on here. But anyhow, I'm just grateful all the way around. And so I'd love to just, popcorn style, whoever'd like to go first and talk about some of the things you're grateful for this time of year. That would be great. I think Christy wants to go.
I could see it itching.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. You're it.
I'm it. Tag, I'm it. All right. Well, first of all, I am grateful to be here with you guys, and really just, feel so grateful to Lynn for, kind of inviting me into this beautiful community that you've created. And I'm a creator. I'm a bringing people together person. And it is one of the greatest things that I am grateful for in my life is my tribe, and that every day, I meet, I talk. I've been gifted with the gift of gab. And so I talk to people wherever I go. And I do love that about myself. I'm grateful for that gift, because I love connecting with people, and, we're not meant to do this whole thing alone. So, I am grateful to be here, but more than that is really grateful to be in connection with other people doing a lot of good in the world, and, trying to make a difference, and people who are not afraid to stand up and tell their story, and share it loud and proud and unapologetically. So yeah, there's so much more, but I really just wanted to start with that, being that we're all here in community.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. For sure. And there's beautiful Mary Kay. I just invited her to come up. So hopefully she takes my invite. I loved what you said. Thank you for sharing. And it's great to have you here. And soon we're going to be in a little bit bigger platform so that we can have more say. So I'm excited. I'm doing blindly, but I'm excited about it. Miss Teodora. And welcome, Barry.
Before Teodora talks, I just want to, Christy, thank you for using the word tribe, because I think that's an important thing that we have to understand. We all kind of gravitate and try to build our own tribes and stuff like that. And it's not just something that we do because we want people. We need people. We need community. We need support and all that stuff. And I think sometimes we forget to be grateful the fact that we've even been able to build even a small tribe. And having gratitude for those people is the best way to honor them and to support them, is being grateful for them every day. So thank you for using that word tribe. I think that's an important word today.
Yeah.
Teodora.
Yes. Thanksgiving is a holiday that we do not have in Romania. I did not grow up having Thanksgiving as a holiday to celebrate. And that's because in Romania, on Sunday, in my family, at least us as a family, it was absolutely a must. There was no way around it. My dad would just make us go to church, dead or alive, straight from the club if I was a teenager, or waking up, and it was absolutely a have to. At 10 o'clock in the morning Sunday, we were at church as a family all together. And then after that, lunch in the family was no way around it. And it was a Thanksgiving every Sunday in my family growing up. So
wow,
growing up like that, it really brought, so much understanding about the gratitude. And we were just all together present in the gratitude, resting every Sunday, having the food all together, and then going from there, going into the week. So now here we are, and we're celebrating this week Thanksgiving, and I am blessed, and I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to open my door and host Thanksgiving for a bunch of my friends, and be there all around the table. And as I was shopping today, I was thinking, wow, this is not going to be a traditional Thanksgiving for them, because I don't cook American food. All the food that I make is Romanian. So I hope that's going to be okay with them. And I had to text and say, hey guys, just so you know, like, this is going to be untraditional for you. I hope it's okay, but we're going to have Romanian food. So looking at that and analyzing and just thinking back and reflecting, there's so many things I'm grateful for, but it's not just this week, or not just, maybe the last Thursday of the month of November. It's every day that I live with that I have in my heart all the time. And when I was able to switch that and recognize this feeling, I really went from living a normal life to living a much happier life, because every day I'm able to recognize a few things that I'm grateful for, write them down, and then put the notebook away, and then just move on with my life. And it just made such a tremendous difference. But to mention a few, I'm really grateful for every single thing, even for having a backyard, for like having running water. Like honestly, I find something to be grateful for in every breath that I take. I find little things, and I'm just so happy to have that in my life. And it's so incredible when we're able to recognize that. I'm gonna go around the room and tell you guys that I'm grateful for Lynn, because I have her in my life to even just make a phone call and say, Lynn, how do I do this? Lynn, what do I do? If I'm crying, I'm calling Lynn because I need to tell her. If I'm happy, I'm calling Lynn because I need to tell her that. I'm grateful that Lynn is calling to check on me because she just has this feeling that she has to pick up the phone and call me. It's incredible, and I'm just so grateful to have you in my life, Lynn.
I'm honored.
God,
Love
I'm
you.
grateful for you because I've learned from you how important it is to help others that struggle, to help the ones that cannot help themselves, maybe, and be there for them when they need me the most. And I'm learning that from you. I'm grateful to have known you through Lynn and through this community. I'm grateful for everything I'm learning from you. And I just want to tell you thank you for everything you shared with the world and with us and everything you do for others. And I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to many more things that I can learn from you.
Oh, thank you.
Terry,
Thank you.
I'm grateful for your book. Oh my God, I've learned so much. I'm grateful for, yes, I have it. I've read it several times. I'm so grateful for you and knowing you and having you on my list of friends that I can reach out to when I have a question or when I just need to know something that doesn't feel right about a relationship or something that's going on. And I'm grateful for you to have you on my list of friends to know and to learn from and to be there for. Bob, oh my gosh, where do I start? I'm grateful for everything that I'm learning from you. I'm grateful to know you. And I'm grateful that you took the time to talk to me and my friend when I felt that he needs help. And I'm grateful that I know you and that I can learn from you and I can be part of your community. I still have to take another step and I will be there, but I just can't even thank you enough and tell you how grateful I am that I am part of this community so that I can learn so much from you and be able to help others.
Thank you.
Dr. Christy Vanford, I love everything about you, from your energy, from your vibration, from everything that you put out, from your little messages on Facebook to the entire picture that you're creating with your community and your business and your work that you do for others. I'm so grateful that I am part of that. And I'm so grateful that I can learn from you, that I can absorb from you, that I can take from you, that I can steal from you.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful to know you, and I'm grateful for being here, for having the chance to even express all this gratitude for everything. Like I said, every breath that I take, I'm grateful for, because it's magic when we recognize that and are able to help others feel the same and feel the love and the gratitude and everything that we have, because we have so much. We have a lot. I think I spoke too much.
No, Teodora is beautiful. Thank you.
That was a gift to all of us.
I love it when gratitude just starts flowing out of people and they start like it becomes very emotional. It's loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you, Teodora.
Who wants to follow that?
I think Mr. Barry can.
Me? Okay, I thought Bob may go ahead since he's been on longer than I was. I got in late today.
All right, go ahead, Bob. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm grateful for contrast. That's
like
what I've kind of been thinking about the last week or two, is the contrast. It's the ebb and flow. It's the good and bad. It's the high and low. It's the beautiful and ugly. that allows me to even recognize the difference. And what a bland life and existence it is when it's all one or the other. And I'm grateful that I have the ability to have both.
Beautiful.
I love that. Love that. Okay, Barry, he gave you about 35 seconds to prepare. Are you ready? I think he cut it short on purpose just to get you. No, go ahead.
I don't know. There'll be round 2 as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
Similar to Teodora, where I'm from in England, there's no Thanksgiving either. You know, it's just another Thursday in November. It's not like anything special. However, being in America for so many years, I've had so many Friendsgivings over the years. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to play in that environment because it's the family maybe I've chosen versus the family I was born to. So I'm grateful for the opportunity for that. I talked about this in a previous show about the gratitude thing because I have this gratitude jar. I have this. If you can, whoops.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's a book and a half right there.
That's cool.
Well, I do this every year. And basically what it is each day I just write down a few things. Normally 3 is my commitment to minimum. Just a piece of paper, just write down 3 things at the end of the day that I'm grateful for. I do it at the end of the day because I look back at what I've been through, I had experienced, whether it's, like you said, contrast. But just things, I mean, it could just be like, making myself a decent breakfast or something. Or it could be going for a hike in the morning or seeing friends, whatever it is. Just write it down. Yeah, sometimes big things like I got paid for a client. That's also nice to write down. But it's not about scale. It's about each single item is something to be grateful for. And for me, last week, spending it up in the mountains, the contrast between LA and the mountains was quite something. And to be in this very small community, a little different politically from where I'm from, was very intriguing. There's one gas station, one store, general store, very rustic, but it was a great time. And being out in that experience versus being in LA was a wonderful contrast to experience that and just really feel how joyful it was to be around a small community. And I was there because my friend needed help after surgery, and I had a great time supporting her and also being able to serve, which is another part of what I've been grateful for is service and caring and making a difference. And thank you, Teodora, for the love of my book. That's really a gift I can give to the world by having people learn from it and hopefully change their lives and to make an impact, whether it's just words I've said or a glance across a room or a chance to shake someone's hand. I get to go gratitude all the time. I love the opportunity to be grateful because that's what makes life worth living. So.
And everybody loved meeting you last week. All my friends, Barry.
It was fun too. That was a lot. I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm glad I managed to fit that in before I left town. So yeah, you and Deb and all the ladies was fun.
I don't know. I buy all this stuff because I'm looking at these pictures and you fit in with the ladies hanging on your arm. You're looking pretty dapper. I got a feeling you do pretty well out there.
I'm just hanging out with lovely ladies.
That's it. It's beautiful. It's great.
The guy over the shoulder was even smiling. Yeah, we had a great time with you. It was definitely a great time. But I love that. I love that we have 2 people that are not here from the United States and how they appreciate and I'm grateful they're here in our country and they make a difference in this world. I mean, it's just the things people take for granted, and so it's nice to hear it from somebody else's perspective and how they see it.
Well,
but I bet you,
Teodora's from Romania. Who's the other one?
Barry.
He's from Jersey. Come on, we already know it's part of the United States. We figured this out already.
Yeah, but Scott, Jersey is an island off of the coast of England.
Oh, that's true. You got me. And I'm just upset because my family's home country of Wales beat the United States in soccer yesterday, or tied them in the soccer game yesterday.
That means they both won, as far as you can look at it that way if you want to.
Yeah, really. They both won and they both lost. It's all the same.
And it's all the same. I was kind of chuckling when Teodora was saying every day we have every Sunday we have Thanksgiving, because I was thinking to myself, probably came to America. Oh my goodness, I love it here already. I only got to do that once a year with family.
Yes, that's true. Oh God, I couldn't
help it, but I was like, yeah. She was like, really? It's only one day a year? I love America. couldn't help that.
So I got to piggyback on what Bob was saying about the contrast, and that's kind of where I was going too. Is it's for myself because of my travels and my story. I can't be grateful for the light unless I'm also grateful for the dark. Because without the dark, I wouldn't appreciate the light. There's a lot of people that try to forget about their past, especially if they have a past like mine, where they try to cover it up and bury it. And I'm like, I got to reinvent myself, and nobody can know about it. And me, I'm not proud of the things I did. I certainly am not. I have a lot of regret, but I don't live in guilt and shame over it. And I embrace it because I've known such dark places in the world. I appreciate the light that much more.
Yeah.
I don't need to win a lottery to be a happy guy. I need a hug from my daughter, and that lights up my world. And I'd rather have that than to win the money. I don't need big cars and fancy things. I need a neighbor to sit and talk to on the porch, because I know what it's like to walk out and have everybody in the neighborhood close their doors when you walk down the street. I know what it's like to sit at Thanksgiving dinner with 50 people around the table, and feel like you're the one who doesn't belong there and shouldn't be there. Nobody wants there, or to feel completely invisible. Because I know that, it allows me to know the other side of it more than most people do. I mean, I can't imagine anybody truly understanding gratitude without some pain to motivate that. That's what life is about. It's about the contrast. It's about the ups and downs. And if we can learn to embrace a little bit of that sadness, a little bit of that darkness, a little bit of that pain, as this is what's going to make me appreciate tomorrow morning when the sun comes up, we probably all do a little bit better. Listen, we stand in line to ride a roller coaster that has ups and downs and dips, and it throws us everywhere. We don't stand in line to get on a train that's going to go in a straight line with no turns and bright lights and everybody knows what's going on. We want to be shocked. We want to be tossed around. We want to be brought to that brink of, am I going to make it? And then find out, holy cow, I made it. And I conquered something, because that's where gratitude lies. So for me, it is about the contrast. It's about light and dark. It's I'm grateful for the story that I have. Again, I regret the people that got hurt because of my story. But I am grateful that I've had that story, because without that story, I couldn't do what I do today. And if I wasn't doing it, I don't know who would. I'm sure somebody else would step up, but as far as I'm concerned, it's my responsibility. So I'm grateful for all that stuff. And for all you people out there who like to make your little gratitude list and say, I'm grateful for the little bluebird on the branch, once you bring it back home and think about the things that we should value more in our lives, and put that on the top of your gratitude list, and remind yourself, it's not just about being grateful. It's about valuing the things that you have and placing value on those things. But Thanksgiving for me, I've got 4 people or 3 people coming to my house. So it's 4 of us all together. I got a 25-pound turkey. I hope that's enough for 4 people. I know I overdid it. Oh, well. And I'm just thrilled to have them sit at my table and eat my food. And I would be thrilled to eat Romanian food and
Come to Denver.
just to spend just to spend time with people. And anybody who's ever had that moment in your life when you felt like you were invisible, use that so that when somebody does see you, you really, really appreciate it. But thank you, Bob, for the contrast comment too, because that was brilliant.
Thank you.
So gratitude and happiness and and Thanksgiving.
Lynn, you muted.
Lynn, you're muted. Lynn.
Yeah,
there you go.
I gotcha. No, I got dogs running around. I got extra dogs in my house for a few weeks, so this is fun here. My daughter sold her house, so now her whole family's up here for a couple weeks. So
I was with Dog last week. My friend Dog.
Yeah, speaking of Dog, how is he?
He's doing great. He moved into a place in Naples. He's got a lake in his backyard.
Wow.
And I went over to his house. We were having coffee and talking, and he goes, I got a pet gator too. And I'm like, no, you don't. We go out back to his pond, and across the pond, there's a 6-foot gator laying out on the side. Wow. And I'm like, well, so there's a gator in your pond. It's not your pet. And he goes, watch this. He goes, hey, Wally. And he claps his hands. The freaking gator gets up and swims over to us.
No way.
And he stands there. While the thing comes up about 3 feet from him and just sits down and waits for Dog to throw him some meat. you know, and I
They
saw
have
it
an
all from
understanding,
the
I guess.
I saw it all from the tree that I was in.
I've been there with you.
Now that part I believe.
Grateful the tree was there.
Yes.
Oh,
No, I went to see my brother when he lived in this development, and my brother acted a little shady for a little bit. He'd always keep going outside and didn't say nothing, and he didn't tell me anything. And then the next day, sure enough, they caught this big alligator. It was in his backyard, and I'm like, I am so glad you caught that the day after I was there. I didn't want to meet that alligator. Holy cow. One of the things that scare me about Florida, other than senior citizens driving, but that's beside the
I
point.
want to share something with you guys.
Please do.
Yes.
So I asked, I'm not at my desk because my daughter has a friend over and they're playing by the fireplace downstairs, and I didn't want to be there. But I asked Alma to bring my gratitude journal. This is my gratitude journal that I write in every morning. And I want to share with you one page that I wrote one random morning. Just to show you a few more things that I'm grateful for. So on Tuesday, I wrote, I'm grateful for Lynn Serrano because she knows when and how to talk to me and help me get out of my head. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for my daughter, Alma, because she's understanding, happy, and supportive. I'm grateful for my circle of successful friends who show me that it is possible. I'm grateful for my home because I have where to live. I'm grateful for the things I have because it makes life easier. I'm grateful for my body because it carries me every day. I'm grateful for my health because I can live a normal life. I'm grateful for the money I have because I can pay my bills to have the life I do. I'm grateful for all the lessons I learn every day through the struggles of life. I'm grateful God blessed me in so many ways. And this was just a normal entry in the journal.
Nice.
Oh, I love you, Teodora. I love you so much.
There was a study that was done. I'm going to throw this out here for discussion real quick. I think it just kind of moves along with the gratitude, but the gratitude actually changes your life. Living with gratitude and being grateful. And there was actually a study, and this was done by Psychology, or it was published in Psychology Today. Gratitude opens the doors for more relationships. People who are more grateful actually tend to build more relationships. It improves physical health. There's less stress. Less stress on the body means a healthier body. It improves psychological health, obviously, because again, less stress, less anxiety when you are grateful. It enhances empathy and reduces aggression. When you have gratitude for things, you're less aggressive because there's no need to be aggressive. They sleep better. People who have gratitude, people who live in gratitude, I'm not just saying gratitude for one thing, living in gratitude to most of the things that happen to them.
Yeah,
I'd say all things, but nobody does that. You sleep better. It improves your self-esteem. You feel better about your life around you. You feel better about yourself. If you constantly think your life is crap, you think you're crap. And finally, it increases mental strength because it takes mental strength to be able to flip things to the positive and to be grateful in spite of what our first gut reaction might be to any certain situation. So we're not just talking about, hey, just let's feel good. This is really about a life-changing attitude that you can adopt. And I can guarantee you, however well you're doing with success in your life, your relationships, and your family, if you adopt even more gratitude into your life, I guarantee things will get even better. Christy, you're nodding your head like crazy. You agreeing with all this?
Oh my gosh, yeah, because the benefits that you're talking about, it was one of the things that I wanted to bring up tonight was that, you know, you hear this word gratitude thrown around all the time now. You know, it's sort of like, you know, we sprinkle it like glitter. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Wake up every day and write your list. And I'm not, yeah, right. And you know, obviously, look, yes, gratitude for the win, but I think that it's become a little bit watered down. And
yes,
I'm always of the mindset in everything I do, like I want to get to the root of a thing, right? I want to get to its bare essence, bring us back to the bare essence of what something really is about. The root of it, right? So that we know what we're talking about here. especially when it comes to kids, right? Like kids are learning in school, be grateful. And they sort of roll their eyes, you know, and they're like, I'm grateful for my house, grateful for my dog, you know, and it just becomes this thing to do. And so I really, you know, when I think about gratitude, and this relates to what you were just saying about the literature and the research, right? The reason why there's these profound benefits is because you know, gratitude isn't just something to do. I think it's really an entire perspective and outlook on this human existence, right? Because when we're grateful for something outside of ourselves, there's an inherent understanding that we are connected to something bigger than ourselves, right? It's more than just us, right? So relating it back to what I said before about the tribe, humans are relational beings. We are interconnected. We are all of the same source. And we forget that we're living in this day-to-day life that we're being so domesticated for, like, you know, every person out for themselves and, you know, and all of that. And so we lose contact with the essence of who we are. You know, in my whole rewilding program, I talk about bringing people back to the nature of, you know, the wild essence of the human. And gratitude is such a part of that. And if you look at, you know, anthropology and the history of the human, you know, you didn't hear the words, today I'm grateful for, but you witnessed it in their actions. And so one of the things that I'm really, you know, big about in my life and in my practice is forget about the words. You know, I want to see that action, right? It's like anything else. Knowledge that is not embodied is just a waste of time, right? It's meaningless information. So, you know, when you think about this gratitude and these long-term health benefits, for instance, you know, of gratitude, right? Like what it actually does to our physical bodies, it's because when we're living in this state of gratitude, it implies that we understand who we are. We understand where we came from. We understand our responsibility to one another. And we're actually embodying it, right? We're actually running it through every day, you know, and just making it part of our practice such that every day we're finding, you know, the magic in the mundane. And when we're in that state of flow, I mean, health in the physical body is the absence of dis-ease, right? What is dis-ease? It's a state of tension and contraction in the body. We are looking for flow, right? And when we're in that state of like, I am connected to all of this, I can be in that state of flow, you know? So I feel like it's so important to really understand, you know, and dissect, like, what is this thing called gratitude? It's not just a thing to do on Thanksgiving or part of a morning practice that you could check off the box and say, I did it, you know. Well, what does it mean you did it? Are you embodying it? Are you living it? You know, it's so important, I think.
Very well said, Christy. Thank you so much. Very well said.
I think Bob has something to say.
Well, the minute she mentioned the state of flow, Bob says, I know what that's all about.
Yeah, I know it's all about.
I live in the...
Oh, I love flow. I love flow.
But Bob, how about this gratitude being more than just words and platitudes? It really affects who we are as people, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, and I think when we talk about gratitude, are we talking about the noun or the verb, or, you know, what other state can the word gratitude be in? I think it's the embodiment. You know, when I was talking to somebody today about a gentleman that I met, and it really has nothing to do with gratitude except the being of it. Mm-hmm. Years ago, I was at an event. It was a really fancy luncheon in Beverly Hills, and I was standing at the back of the room. There's probably about 300 or 400 people in the room from media and from press and everything. And I was standing at the back of the room, and we were all there to hear different people speak. And I was standing next to this gentleman, and he just exuded confidence. He exuded this amazing being of a person. And I remember looking at him and I started talking to him when we were out of this car. And I mean, his suit was impeccable. His hair was everything about him was just impeccable. And I remember just standing there talking to him, and I thought, this guy, man, he just, whew. And we talked for maybe 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden they said, and our guest, our featured speaker today is Mr. Brandon Tartikoff, head of NBC Studios. And he goes, "Nice to meet you, Bob." And he walks up there. And I'm like, holy cow, the whole time I've been standing there talking to this guy. And even though it's not about gratitude, he embodied this amazing being. And when you're in that presence, and you've heard me talk about Garth Brooks and certain people, when you're in that presence, you know it, you feel it. They don't have to say, "Hey, I'm very grateful. Hey, I'm in a state of gratitude. Hey, you just know it." And I love that ability to recognize that in someone without them having to tell you. If somebody has to tell you they're grateful, my guess is they're probably not living gratitude.
Yeah.
When somebody has to tell me, "Bob, I'm a great connector," I know right off the bat they're not.
Right.
I should just know that. And so I think gratitude is this thing that you either are or you're not. And it's not a degree of. You're either in a grateful state or you're not grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no in between. It's not kind of grateful. It's like kind of being pregnant.
Well,
I love that. It's an embodiment. It really is. And you can sense it on people.
Yeah.
And we gravitate towards those people because when somebody is in that state, they make everyone around them elevate. It just happens, and you feel good around them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about this, Barry, when it comes to relationships, how gratitude plays a role in either the demise or the success of relationships.
I was thinking about that too, because again, back to contrast, the thing for me is that a lot of times people either in a relationship or out of relationship will spend a lot of time complaining and how bad they are or what problems they have.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bad thing. I'm sorry. I chuckled. I just
depends what you're aiming for.
Teodora, I got my list too. I got my books, my complaints about my exes.
However, sometimes the simplest thing you can do is find things to be grateful for about your partner, and it transforms the relationship.
Yeah.
A lot of people are so tuned into things that go wrong, complaining, upsets. They didn't do this for me, all this stuff. But frankly, if they start being grateful, it will just fall away. I talked with somebody else, this conversation I had a while ago with somebody. I said it quite often with other clients too, that if you love where you are in your life now, where things are, you got your right relationship, right, everything else, you basically have to be grateful for everything that happened before it, no matter how good or bad it was. Right. Because you wouldn't be here in this position if everything didn't happen the way it did to get you here. True. If it was abusive, if it was addictive, if it was lonely, whatever it was, it got you to where you are now. So even that can you be grateful for, because the truth is, it's what got you here. So for relationships especially, I've got friends who've been through relationships that weren't pretty early on, but they really got into a great deal of love later on in their relationships. But they look back at that journey and they're grateful for what happened because it got them where they are now. So I recommend that highly. Is like, what can you be grateful for and what has happened that got you where you are now? I mean, I wrote the book and did my work because of the mistakes I made. So I'm grateful for all those relationships. And I talk about relationships from a place of gratitude, even though they failed dramatically. I'm grateful for them because each one of those taught me what I need to learn for the next step.
Yeah.
Right.
Agree.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to mention that we did receive gifts even in the tough times. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if we're what was it? Einstein did the whole thing. He did the thing in front of the class where he did on the board. He went 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27. He went all the way up, and then he got to 9 times 10 is 91. And everybody kind of chortled a little bit. And they says, "Oh my God, you made a mistake. You're wrong." And they pointed everything out. And he goes, "Well, let me understand something. I just did something right. 9 times out of 10, I did something right, but there's no celebration of that, no notice of that. But when I did something wrong, everybody's attention is piqued and everybody wants to chime in. Yeah. Yep. So what is wrong with that? And I thought that's kind of what you're talking about. We're hyper focused on the stuff that doesn't go right. Right. But even the stuff that doesn't go right, if it's properly used and if you could absorb it, it doesn't. You learn and you gain something from it. I think Richard Bach says we have problems to get their gifts. That's why we have problems.
I've had experiences many times where, I mean, even early on in my career, where I didn't get the job I wanted, but the one that came after was even better. So oftentimes the gift that shows up is the one you didn't expect. So what you're saying is so true, Scott. It's like that recognition that what you fixate on may not be what you really want anyway. It may not be the best gift to make possibility. So be open, celebrate everything.
I hope I never get everything I want because it would be so awful. It really would. Because I want the worst things. I wake up in the middle of the night, I want an ice cream sundae, but I'm trying to lose weight. Now, if I just got that ice cream sundae, I'd wake up the next morning, I'd hate myself. And so we don't, what do they say? 2 tragedies in life is one is not getting what you want, the other one's getting what you want. Instead of like love the one
everything goes with it.
Yeah.
And everything goes with it too.
Whatever's in front of you, there's always something. I mean, just the fact that we're still here and have things in front of us means something. It means something. Lynn, you've had a hell of a journey in your life. I mean, do you carry gratitude for all the tough times as well?
I do, but I think that's when we get older, we're blessed to be older and to actually compare what we've been through in our life to where we are now. I mean, I'm grateful for so many things from what I see. I mean, like I said, I'm just grateful that the people that took time to come to California. I was grateful to see Bob in his element. Bob asks people great question. He interacts with them. He exudes the wonderful energy. Like I saw him in his element in different times. And I was blessed because I felt very much more connected to him. And I just loved how he presents himself, how he interacts with everybody. And it's just such a blessing. So I sit there and I go, wow, he's sharing things with me that most people don't know he does and stuff. And I just sit there in admiration of the people that get connected to me and that I know and the things I've learned, because I felt alone a lot of times in my life. And I usually, as an introvert, I either I'll talk from nervositis or I am just quiet. And so I'm just grateful. Like when I saw that I wanted to go to California, I was just so grateful. My cup was so full the days that we were there that I just felt super blessed. Hi, Rex. I just felt super blessed that people made the effort to come and see us. Joe came from Irvine. You came from up north. I mean, it just those things. I'm like, that was a decision they made. And we had to change our schedule. And he actually messaged us the night before. Like anybody that takes any time with me, it just means so much. And I love Teodora because we talk every day. She's my bestie and everything. And it's just, I just love the connections. And I mean, Christy, I don't talk to her every day, but I feel very connected to her. It's those relationships, and Barry, it was great to see you and us connect with Pitter. I mean, it was just a really great feeling to know that life was not what it was, but I always knew that what I was going through at that time, that, there's light at the other end of the tunnel. And I knew that whatever I was going through, whatever storm, and being from Syracuse, New York, most people can understand storms. But when you go through storms, you got to keep going because it's not always going to be like that. It's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be bad, but there's always something to be grateful. Even in a bad situation, there's always something. I'm a Pollyanna. And I'll admit that, but I always, when people are telling me tragic stories or when Teodora is sharing something with me, I always find the silver lining in it and say, but look at it from this perspective.
Absolutely.
And you're so amazing.
I love those storms. What's that?
Lynn, you're so amazing at that. Even if listen, it's normal to have situations day by day that really, maybe not every day make you cry, but there's just things in my life that maybe every day I feel like I need to cry. And when I call Lynn and I'm crying here, like upset, and she just has this incredible power of seeing the good in every single thing. And I absorb that, and I'm just so grateful for that because now I can shift everything on my own and recognizing that. I just think, what would Lynn think? What would Lynn tell me? What would Lynn say?
One thing's funny about my friends that call me. I'm like, don't call me and be sad. And you know what's going to happen. I'm not going to let you be sad by the time our conversation's done. So I have had some friends that you guys even know, but I'm not going to say names, that have called and said, well, you know what, Lynn, that's not what I wanted to hear. I'm like, well, you called the wrong number then, because I'm going to turn that frown upside down. So that's when I feel like, oh, I got to call Teodora right now. And I've sensed when she's needed me, and I'm like, okay, what's the matter? She's like, nothing. I'm like, no, I'm here.
And it's very interesting how in life, in everywhere we go, if we're able to recognize that. I have, when I was working for the grocery store, I had the job and I had to work with lots of people. There are people that are just not happy in where they are. Everything around them is just negative, and they just project that, and they're just miserable. And I always embrace those people with love and gratitude, and I was able to recognize something in what they would say or they would do, and just give that to them and say, I'm so glad to see you today. I'm sorry you're not feeling good, but you look good. I love your hair. Something about them, and it just changes. It just changes their attitude, and they're like, oh, you actually appreciate that. Oh, that feels nice. So it's important.
Yeah.
Well, gratitude.
I got to ask, is Rex with us? Rex,
Yeah,
are
I
you
think
there?
he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not where I can be visible. So
He's
in the shower.
Right back into the witness protection program again.
I am cloaked in invisibility right now, and so
From now on, Rex will be referred to as Judy Finkel to protect his identity. Rex, tell us a little bit about, because this is Thanksgiving this week, gratitude and the importance of gratitude in your life.
Sure, that's a great topic, and one that can never be addressed or talked about enough. I was listening to what Lynn and everyone was saying for the time that I've been here, and I think it's really important and wonderful. Nobody likes to have problems, right? Most people will go, oh, wow, another tragedy, another trauma, another drama in my life. Yet, that said, I did realize at some point in my life that I'm lucky that I get to have those, because the alternative is I'm not here.
Yes.
In other words, yes, in an ideal world, there would be no issues or suffering or sadness or whatever, but obviously there is, and I still get to have those, and I get to try and solve them or go through them and grow from them and learn from them, suffer from them, whatever it might be. But, I'm alive, so I get to have both the good times and the bad times, and that's better than not having any times at all. So if there's a little bit of light in something, then that's the light I want to focus on. A tiny little candle flame can illuminate an entire room. And so sometimes we just have to look at what's available and go, gosh, there by the grace of God go I, and how lucky I am to find this light and to be in it and to bask in it. And I want to go back and address something that Lynn said. I have since around 1980 or so encouraged people to watch the Disney version of Pollyanna. And when anybody says I'm a Pollyanna or you're just being a Pollyanna, I go, boy, do you have that wrong. Pollyanna has become known. The name is synonymous with being sappily, syrupy, overly positive or optimistic. But Pollyanna's true talent was the ability to find the good in circumstances or situations where other people tended to miss them. She was the princess or queen of reframing, the ability to discover, what other people missed, and not to put a sappy kind of BS, flavor to it or anything, but to be able to say, hey, you know what, you're lucky in this regard, or isn't that marvelous that this is, so she was able to find things that most people don't. And the way that you get to do that is to do that. And, if there were no darkness, there would be no light there. You wouldn't know the difference. And so contrast is what we have in the world. I from many years ago, I used to, in my programs, I would tell people, I go, my ex-wife or then wife was a fine arts major. And I you know, most of my life when I'd go into a museum and I'd look into the museum and I'd go, art. Wow. Okay. Art. And when I got involved with this woman and you know, we had a relationship, and she'd say, yes, but wait a second, come here, come closer, look at this painting, look at this, and notice, you see how the light is, you know, in shadow and the colors and the darkness, and look at the texture of the brush strokes and everything. And what I realized was I would just sum it up, you know, and go, I like it or don't like it. And she'd say, well, here, check this out. And I'd realize that sometimes by looking at the detail and how it was created, I appreciated it that much more because I hadn't noticed any of it before. And in the same way, if we don't notice all the stuff around us that's really good, if we haven't trained ourselves to see things that are there, but that we've continually been blinded to, or we just lump it in as I did art, then we're missing a huge amount of life. I mean, there's there I am. The invisibility is shed. But I'm
They're going to find you now.
I'm frozen in time. Look at me in my tuxedo. I am frozen, but I am speaking without moving my lips. I'm the world's greatest ventriloquist of myself. By the way, I am drinking a glass of water right now and smoking a cigar. So
prove it.
Good for you. Good for you.
But again, it's just nuance. It's being able to make the distinctions in life. Some people make those distinctions and suffer more because they look at all the things that are wrong, and not enough of us look at all the things that are right and emphasize and accentuate those so that we feel better, live better, and you know, are able to do more things. So gratitude is a marvelous thing, and sadly, you know, we should. One of my favorite quotes is, "This is the day the Lord has made, rejoicing, be glad in it." And that should be our motto every day. Every day should be Thanksgiving Day and a praise day and a glory day, not just one day out of the year.
Yes,
absolutely agree with you.
Thank you, Rex.
We're actually running up against time now already, believe it or not. So I think it's just time for a final go around on gratitude and Thanksgiving or whatever else anybody wants to share for the moment. I appreciate everybody's contributions. The positivity of the show was really, really great. This is a good week for that kind of positivity. It should be every day. You're absolutely right. It should just be an embodiment of who we are. But for now, we just have to force it down their throats with a little turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. So
no mashed potatoes for you, Scott.
So let's do a little wrap up. Christy, would you like to give us some final thoughts?
Sure. So I think that, you know, as I was listening to all of this, I think that gratitude is really what allows us to recognize that what we often mistake as rejection is redirection. And what we often see as crosses can actually be blessings. Yes. And, you know, I really think that that's important to understand that. And so that's just really resonating with me right now. And again, I feel grateful to be part of this community. And I'm really grateful. Something that's also coming up to me as again, I'm listening to all of you amazing people is I'm grateful for all of my teachers in life, right? My life experiences, which have taught me my own story, which has been my medicine, but also the people I've met along this journey who every single, you know, even if it's just a hello, I've learned something from seeing how this person shows up in the world. And so I feel really grateful right now for the way showers, you know, for the way showers. And yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. So glad you're here with us, and just it's nice to see us joining us more often. This is really nice.
Is that hi to Flo? Tell her I said hello.
She's leaving.
Oh,
Barry, what do you think for final thoughts, man?
Well, we covered so much, and I'm grateful for what we've talked about because it's all been about gratitude. But if you're watching this in the replays or watching it now, my invitation to you is to make this a daily practice. As we mentioned, Thanksgiving is not once a year; it can be every day. Yeah. So, my invitation to you is to write down, document, whether it's through what I do with a gratitude jar with a piece of paper, or if you do a journal, however you do it, write down at least 3 things every day that you're grateful for. And if you can't find things to be grateful for, look in the mirror and remember you're breathing, your heart's beating, and you're a divine inspiration from God. Start with those three and see what happens.
Nice.
Love that.
Nice.
Thank you.
Bob, what do you say, my friend?
Final thought for grateful is be. Be. Just being grateful. Just be.
Yeah.
Anything else, in my opinion, it's like when somebody says define God. Anything I say is going to be less than God.
Yes.
It's just going to bring God's standard or the standard of God down.
Yeah.
Grateful is just, to me, it's just be. It's just being.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Rex, final thoughts for your,
Yeah, I'm
for your
gonna
5
say
minutes of
everything
show?
Yeah, I'm going to say everything I just said, only backwards. When I had made it a practice, somebody say, how are you? Because we all get asked, I say, wonderful. And people, in California, they didn't think anything of it. They'd go, oh yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I moved to the Midwest and I go back and forth, but I mean, it was primarily in the Midwest. I say, how are you? And I go, wonderful. And everything. And then one day I was somewhere and somebody said, how are you? And I said, well, no, don't tell us. You're wonderful as always. And I was like struck by how they responded to that. So I was going to these dinner parties like on every Wednesday night. And so the next Wednesday I walked in, said, how you doing? I said, well, let me tell you, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. And they all treated me like I was their best friend.
No.
And I realized, wow, misery loves company. And if I wanted to have rapport with people, I should complain. So for a few weeks I'd come in and I'd complain and they were like, what? Wow, you're like human. And I realized, yeah, I am like, and they liked me, but I didn't like me, because it was kind of an experiment. But my point was that people are so used to complaining that they looked at me as like I was a rarity or odd. But for me and the way I lived my life, that is and was the truth. And so I think, you just have to understand that people won't always accept what you do. They won't always know what you do. They won't always validate what you do. But it doesn't matter. Live your truth. Be glad for who you are. Be grateful. You got one chance at this go around as far as we know. So make it count and make it the best you can.
Love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Rex.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you taking the risk of exposing yourself on our show while
Wait
you're in the witness protection program.
Wait. Rephrase that.
Oh, I mean, to show yourself, not expose yourself. Just show yourself.
Yeah.
No, that's a different show. That's our late night show that we'll be doing later on.
As we see it all.
Just switcheroo on the words there.
I'll be grateful I'll be asleep while all that happens. That's what I got gratitude for that, because I might not sleep again if I see that.
Oh my gosh.
I just got to express, everybody knows that, the struggles. This is my daughter, Cordelia, on the left with her wife, Lexi, and my daughter, Cordelia. She dealt with coming out of the closet at a young age as being gay, and she dealt with her addictions, which were almost, in a lot of ways, worse than the addictions I went through, because she went through them much younger than me. And the death of her mother from the drug overdose, she came out of all of that as a whole solid human being who is a miracle walking and talking. And for me to express anything in my life but gratitude after seeing what she went through and how she survived would be a disservice to her life. It would be a disservice to everybody who struggles. What she went through made her who she is. What I went through made me who I am. Like I said, I regret some of the things that happened, but I'm not going to be able to go back and change it. I don't live in guilt and shame and all that. I went through what I went through, but because of what I did, I can do what I do today. Because of what my daughter went through, she's building this beautiful life that I get to sit back every day and watch and just feel this warmth and this love. And it's an amazing thing. And it happens with everything. I think, Bob, when you said just be gratitude, be grateful, be gracious, be humble, be all of those things, and just absorb how wonderful life is. I was in the grocery store getting food. and people were getting food for Thanksgiving, and I could tell they were getting turkeys and this and that, and half the people I talked to were miserable.
Yeah.
They're miserable. They're complaining about this, complaining about that. You're putting food in the cart to come home and feed your family. Why are we not celebrating that? Why are we angry about that?
Right.
Yeah, so butter costs more than it cost before. Oh, well, I still have butter on my table. My family's getting fed. Come on. Just live it. Life is way too short not to celebrate every moment. Come on, people.
Yeah.
And I love all of you guys. I love what you do and what you stand for, and I appreciate who you all are. And this is like a new tribe that we have. This is our online tribe. And I'm proud that you guys are all members of this, and just humbled that you speak to me, because there was a time when you would have crossed the street if you saw me coming. I guarantee it. Lynn?
No, I'm just grateful as always, and I'm just gonna put this here again. We have all these great authors. Some of them can't be here because it is a busy week, but we appreciate and love every one of you guys. And I just, I know I say it over redundancy, but the bottom line is that for those that don't think they have much or to be grateful for the people that keep showing up in your life, because you make a difference, they make a difference. And it's just we shouldn't take things for granted. I mean, it's just, and Mary Kay, I'm grateful for you, and I hear you're going to do a show with Scott, and I'm pretty excited about that. So
coming up in December, Mary Kay and I will be doing a show. It'll be about being able to reinvent yourself later in life.
She was at work, so she couldn't make it. She let me know that. Anyways, you guys have a great time with your family, your friends. Just remember, the only day we're given is today, where nothing else is promised. So make the best of every moment, and know you are blessed. You're blessed whether you realize it or not. And I'm blessed by all of you guys. So love you guys.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Much love.
Love you guys.
Thank you,
Keeping
everybody.
me safe and sound.